Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. Paul, joined by Jack Weinberger, Robert Ziggy Ziegler, out in Iceland for final episode in Iceland, Ziggy, or maybe another one? Are you coming? When are you coming back?
See, I can see the northern lights outside right now, so maybe I'm never going to do that. It's just going to be how it is.
And producer Zach Bloomquist is with us, the best executive producer in the game for this members-only mailbag episode. If you want to be a member of the channel, go over to our channel homepage, select Join. It's easier on desktop than it is on mobile, but if you are on mobile, I'll just tell you right now, click the little three dots on the bottom right. It'll say Show in Desktop Form, and then you should be able to hit Join to become a member. So anyone who was a member was able to submit questions. We're going to answer all of those. Little perk of being a member in today's episode here. So we appreciate everyone who has their memberships. It means a lot to us. We appreciate everyone who's listening as well. And if you do enjoy the content, please remember to subscribe to the channel as we're approaching 24,000 subscribers. We're hoping to hit it by the end of this week, before the week 5 games, maybe. It might take a little bit of heavy pulling. So a subscription goes a long way. What did we say at the start of the show? When we very first started? Everyone counts?
It goes a long way.
It goes a long way. That is what we said, isn't it? That's pretty good. It goes a long way. So
we really do appreciate it. It really does.
Oh no, it's great. It's great, and everyone's been so kind during this football season. Hopefully, we could start getting some more wins for the Vikings. The Packers, it is comical when they lose, but I know we're kind
to you guys.
But I'm happy for the Packer fans when they get their wins. It's again, unfortunately, every Packer fan I know, it's just so nice that. But the Lions fans are starting to chirp a little bit in our comment section. I don't know if people have been paying attention. Like,
for good
Detroit's
reason.
Got their voice back
for good reason.
It's gonna be a battle. And hey, maybe, just maybe, some Chicago fans are gonna start saying some things soon. They go into their buying 2-game win streak. Maybe some Steelers fans get talking. All right, forget about that. Let's get into the mailbag. The first question that we're going to jump into has nothing to do with sports at all. Midwest Mountain Man says, Ziggy, what word do you use for herbal infusions? Herbal teas, tisanes, tea, not real tea? You take this, Ziggy.
I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about when you talk about herbal infusions, but I can say this much. If you're talking about just like putting some herbs in water, that's not tea. I'm willing to be pretty generous with tea. Like, one of my favorite kinds of tea is barley tea. It's basically just malted barley with some wheat. A guy I know out in Philadelphia makes it. But no, herbs in water is herb water. It's not tea.
In Philadelphia.
What? What do you mean? What guy in Philadelphia?
What do you mean? There's a guy has a farm outside Philadelphia. He's got barley tea. What more do you want?
Do you just order it from him? Or do you
Does he have a company, or is he literally just like...
He's just a guy who gets me my barley tea.
How did you find him?
No comment.
That's great.
What the hell?
That's great.
If there was any way...
barley tea is obscure.
Well, yeah, I mean, but someone rando selling it that you don't feel comfortable enough sharing how you found him is a little...
I don't want you guys to know my barley tea guy, because then maybe you'll buy up all the barley tea and I won't have any left.
Maybe off air. We'll find out.
Are we talking about tea anymore? All right, let's... if there's any way for the member mailbag to get started, I feel like this could not have been no, it's probably the best way we could have started this. Hugh Pack says, do you think the Packers' pathetic defensive showing versus Dallas is more of a one-off or symptomatic of deeper issues? Weird stuff happens on a weekly basis in the NFL, but it's hardly good for fans' peace of mind to be going into the bye, the first 3 weeks notwithstanding.
I don't think it's too big. I've said this before. I'm a huge believer in week by week, a team could be very good one week and very bad the other. They just show up in a certain spot. Dallas probably wanted to beat Micah Parsons just as badly as Parsons wanted to beat Dallas. And their offense showed out. I just think Dallas was up to play against Micah Parsons to win that game. I'm not panicking on Green Bay and their defense. The first 3 weeks of defense was awesome. Mm-hmm. And I think that's more of what their defense is than last week.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about that Philly defense. They were one of the best defenses in the NFL last week. They gave up 29 to the Packers week 1, 33 to the Bucs week 4. They gave up 36 to the Commanders towards the end of the season. But the Chargers were another great defense last year. They were number 1 in points allowed. They gave up 40 to the Bucs. They gave up 27 to the Broncos, 30 to the Ravens. Good defenses have bad games. This is part of why you need a good offense in the NFL. But one bad game, even though I don't think Dallas's offense is as good as most of the teams I listed were last year, should not have you doubting a defense that played elite football through the first 3 weeks. This is the aberration.
Yes, the Dallas game was horrendous, but I think it's unfair given what we saw to have a ton of panic. Now, one thing that I do think was fair for Packers fans to be a little bit annoyed about, I don't know, it's not fair. But Micah in that game, he had 7 pressures total. 6 of them came in the fourth quarter or overtime, so he was sort of invisible for a lot of the game. Now, Green Bay fans are saying he was getting held and that, he was just missed Dak a few times, and that's very true. Dak was getting the ball out quick, and even when Micah was getting to him, just one step ahead, and that's how it goes sometimes. But I can understand the frustration a bit when you watch TJ Watt with a huge interception against the Vikings. You watch Max Crosby completely blow up that game in Chicago. The Bears were, fortunate to win with the comeback, but he had batted passes and interceptions as well. Where in that game against Dallas, you are one play away from one great play away from someone on the defense from probably winning that football game, and you're paying Micah $188 million or $186 million in that game too against that team. Like, just give me that one superstar moment, and it didn't come. And that's where I can understand why some Packer fans may have reacted a little harshly to that game, and especially when the defense gives up 40 points. But that's football. It happens. Also, that's what she said, Jack, on your it's not too big to start. That's what she said.
Well, mine's always perfect size.
And JK Zarata, as a Packers fan, my eyes will always go to Ziggy, and it's just always the same.
It's always the eye roll. Yeah.
JK Zarata, as a Packers fan, I'm very glad we got the Lions week 1. Between penalties, injuries, play calling, this bye week needs to accomplish a lot. What do you think is the biggest area of focus for Green Bay heading into the bye? Ziggy, we'll kick it to you first if you have something.
I don't know why you're kicking the question coming from a Packers fan to me first. Am I allowed to say health? Like, at a certain point, I think
that's kind of lame.
We're going to get more into this throughout. What? You don't like that?
Well, no, you can take that. I have a different answer. So
it's my view is that the Packers struggles on offense are primarily because the offensive line is banged up. There's all sorts of things they could work on, but none of those strike me as particularly urgent. They've just got to get this team settled, take advantage of this bye to not just get healthy, but also stop the losses from piling up. Like we saw Chicago last year, you said it over and over again. Like when you start losing games your team feels like they shouldn't be losing, the culture can spiral really quickly. It feels weird to say the biggest thing they need to work on is just like take a breath, get a little bit healthier, and come back ready to play football. But I really think those like culture mentality issues, I'm not saying they've got a locker room that's blowing up, but they just need to take a step back, move on from this. That's what I'd work on. Just be ready to play football the next week.
I honestly think it comes down to the Packers would be 4-0 if they had some better situational awareness. Like you're looking at, and by situational awareness, I'm extending that into like the kicking game as well. Like you have 2 opportunities. You had the game-winning attempt, and you had the extra point ran back for 2 for Dallas. 2 really big. Now that's not really situational awareness, but I mean like operating well in the finer details of the game, right? You need to be able to block up front. Yeah, like that has to be able to happen. You get down to the 1-yard line twice against Dallas. You have a false start and that weird Elton Jenkins moving the ball penalty. I'm sorry. One second. Are
you saying the thing that Packers need to work on is playing better football?
No, I'm saying that there are like Green Bay has played pretty good football this entire year. But when you go back and look at these 2 losses, you have the Love fumble right before halftime. You have the Love interception at the end of the game that gave Cleveland the ball on the 5-yard line. You had 2 blocked kicks. Yeah, like I'm saying, there's so many
special teams, offense, and defense.
But they're they're in particular moments. You're trying to close out the Browns. Why don't we just let's run the football. Let's be safe here. Or even if you're not, you just can't have that turnover, right? It's not making the critical mistake is what Green Bay needs to be better.
Okay, so they need to work on not making any mistakes.
All right, you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
Is it fair what I'm saying? I'm not saying be better at football. I'm saying that I just highlighted 5 plays and said that's the difference between you being 4-0 and 2-1.
The difference is the plays on offense, defense, and special teams. We got to be more specific on this.
I also just think that's going to be a lame answer. Oh, 2-0 Yankees.
Bangarang. Situational awareness is a good answer.
I would like to see the offense and defense play well at the same time.
How about all right? This is ridiculous. How about
that the first 2 weeks, by the way?
Fine. I'm just going to say situational awareness and the kicking game. I'll break them up. Block on field goals, and then in situations like the clock's running down, there's 5 seconds left. Why don't we spike the ball and kick a field goal? Or even smarter, 2 minutes left. Let's be aggressive and win the game and not play for a tie. That's situational awareness. Take a knee, go into halftime. You don't need Love chucking the ball downfield. That's situational awareness. I think that Packer fans would typically agree with that. But well played, guys. You riled me up there. We got from Dobby the Dominator. Do you guys have an all-time favorite game or play? I assume the Minneapolis Miracle is there, but aside from that.
Like my team.
Well, you love the Minneapolis Miracle, Jack.
Actually, I hated that.
Yeah.
That's the same day we got knocked out. So I watched you guys advance.
Yeah, Jack just saw the Steelers lose to the Jaguars, and then he's like, "Are you kidding me?" Paul's having the best day of his life.
Like my team, I'm guessing we're going, or is anything?
Team or a game or play? A favorite memory?
I have some pretty bad memories of plays.
No, we're talking favorite.
Favorite is probably the Troy Polamalu pick 6 and the AFC chip against Baltimore.
Yeah,
that was probably my favorite.
That was pretty good.
That was elite.
Ziggy, do you?
I mean, I'm in the tank on this one a little bit, but I think the answer, if we're going to pick a favorite play, it's got to be Ian Book pass complete to Avery Davis, 53 yards, Clemson Notre Dame 2020. Right?
That was awesome.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah,
that was one of the
my
best.
old college roommate catching, and then he immediately scored a touchdown after that, catching the big play of the game in a game we weren't supposed to win. For me, that play will just always live in my mind. It's like, this is why I'm a sports fan.
That's they were down.
Like this.
They were down like 6, also, right?
Like 7. We were down 7 and we tied it and went to overtime. That was the greatest game ever played.
Yes. I watched that at the Holleran's basement. Yeah.
If I'm going to stick with the Vikings, the Brett Favre to Greg Lewis touchdown will forever.
Against the Niners.
Yeah, that was just magical because that also was kind of the start of the magic feel to the Favre season, which I don't know if you guys know this, but probably Brett Favre's best season as a professional football player.
That's what Andy Herman, notable Packers expert, said, right?
He regrettably was leaning towards that after we logged off. Did he even say that on the show? I think he said it off air. So that's a Herman's secret exposed just now.
You know who else just said he wishes he could have played his whole career in Pittsburgh and Mike Tomlin?
Who?
Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers, did he?
Yep.
I mean, Rodgers looks like he's having a blast with Tomlin. The two of them look like they love hanging out.
It'd be great to play with Tomlin. You can do whatever you want and never get in trouble.
Rodgers had the best year of his career.
Oh, one more play before next question. I loved the Josh Allen fumble in the Vikings-Bills game. Remember that? When we got stuffed on the 1 yard line and then Josh Allen fumbled the ball. We recovered in the end zone. You just heard like shrieking from the Vikings players who started screaming, "It's over, game over," only to then allow Josh Allen to tie the game in 13 seconds. Jack, did you have a favorite play?
The Miami Miracle.
Oh, yeah. Kenyon Drake.
Is there any other play that could even be in consideration for you?
Can even either be considered? No.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
There's no way.
Is there any other?
The Patriot, Tom Brady. You're beating Tom Brady the last 4 seconds of the game.
Didn't you have a pick 6 in the 1-15 year when you got your first win? I think that was.
Why would that be my
why would that be the favorite play?
Why would that be my
you
favorite
didn't go
play?
16. You didn't go.
That's could be the BNF's miracle.
Yeah, or we beat Tom Brady in the last 4 seconds of a game on 3 pitchbacks.
I'd actually rather go 0-16 than 1-15.
Just get the pick.
Because I'm part of history forever.
From Alexander Newell, he says, "What are the chances the Vikings go after a free agent quarterback this offseason? They appear to have a win now roster on paper at least, and those typically don't stick together for too long." Just from like doing a quick little look at it, who could be on the market next year. This is Daniel Jones. Aaron Rodgers, if he were to, he'll stay with Pittsburgh probably or retire. Russell Wilson, Mariota. I don't, I don't think
we like at the end of the day, we need our guy to become a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Or we need to take one in the draft. That's where the the die is cast. This is what we got to do.
Yeah, even if we went after Daniel Jones would be like no.
He'd be like, screw you
He'll
guys.
be back with the Colts if they continue this. But there's one interesting thing that I heard today for the first time, and I was kind of blown away to hear it. But then I was even more blown away that a couple of the people discussing it were giving it some real airtime. it was a Viking fan who said, "What do you think this offseason if we just said like screw it and went with a nuclear trade for Joe Burrow
to the Vikings?"
We can't.
Why?
The Bengals would never give up Joe Burrow.
Oh no, that was
Nothing we can offer.
so that was my initial reaction. But then the people discussing it were like, well, the injuries are really concerning.
Would you trade like
with
who? Like
Burrow at this point?
Justin Jefferson?
So it would take Burrow being like, there's so many things that would have to happen, but Joe Burrow would probably have to come out and be like, I'm done with Cincinnati. Like I am, like he would have to,
like a Micah Parsons.
He would have to pull a Micah.
Yeah.
Like I'm gone. It's not happening. And
they still wouldn't trade him if he said that.
Probably not. But if the Vikings offer like 3 firsts and 3 seconds, something ridiculous, I can see a world where at least it gets entertained. I actually if the Vikings trade for Joe Burrow, I'd be the happiest guy on the face of the earth.
Burrow would be like, Justin, you're always better than Jamar anyway.
Oh, that would be hysterical.
Yeah.
But let me just tell you this right now. If the Vikings made a move for Joe Burrow, I don't care how many picks we give up. Because I think we would immediately be top tier Super Bowl contenders. It would be great. I mean, he'd obviously
just correctly identified why this trade will never happen.
Yeah, he obviously would get hurt if this happened, but
yeah, he'd retire like
or
Andrew,
retire.
like
Yeah, so something
like
horrible would
Luck,
happen.
yeah.
But I'd be willing to, I'd be willing to have Kwesi just be like, you know what, balls on the table.
Get whatever
this.
for him.
Yeah, like I'm taking a shot. A couple more questions here as we go through from Bryce. Hey guys, big fan of the show. Thank you very much. Excited to be a new member. Thank you very much. What are your thoughts on Matthew Golden now that we've seen him in the regular season? How has he looked so far? Can he develop into a true number 1 receiver?
I mean, I think from what I've seen is you've seen the deep ball ability. He's a burner. Like there's been a couple of plays where he's gotten behind the secondary. Love has underthrown him a bit. I think once that chemistry gets down a bit more, we will see him have his deep plays for sure. And even the last game before Dallas where he didn't have a catch, you could tell like he is noticeably having him on the field is a huge difference because he is able to open things up for these other guys. Like he is a huge addition, not off to the best start, but I think he gets there. Does he have the chance to become a receiver 1? Too early to tell. I think he does. I've seen some good things so far from him. I think he's off to a good start for the most part.
You can go back and look at history. The magical number for rookie wide receivers is 550 yards in your first year. If you hit that, you have a good chance of being a long, productive NFL wide receiver. If you don't, and you didn't like miss the whole season for injury or something, or were suspended, you probably won't. I think of Matthew Golden right now. I think of the 2023 Jordan Love, who was just taking time to connect with his guys. Golden's doing basically everything right. He's getting open. He's in a position to make plays. That connection with Jordan Love just needs to develop a little bit more. I expect him to easily clear that 550 bar. And you never really know if someone's going to turn out to be an NFL superstar. But he looks like a guy who absolutely will be the wide receiver 1 for this team heading into next year.
Oh, I'm not even sure I'm ready to get it that far ahead, but he absolutely has that potential, Bryce, for your question. He has 11 catches on 14 targets, 126 yards on the season. In the Dallas game, Dobbs played 90% of the snaps, Wicks 77%, and Golden only 59%. I don't know if anything had to do with him just getting absolutely annihilated by Maris Leofau. It's just insane that you have him back returning punts right now. Almost just equally as insane as having Romeo Dobbs then fill in, get a punt returner, figure that out. That's ridiculous. But I would say right now, it's good that they're getting him involved with the jet sweeps. You like seeing a couple shots on the deep ball. He obviously had the huge 4th and 6 conversion. I just want to see him start doing more. Like that, start targeting him more. Start giving him more routes where you're like, give him a slant or something like that. Incorporate him in the game in more ways than just a deep ball or a reverse. Obviously, that's easier said than done. I'm not an NFL offensive coordinator. I'm not a play caller. They might be trying to do that and it's not working. But I look at Emeka Egbuka and he's just been fantastic so far. And they're throwing him the ball all over the place. I'd like to see Green Bay do that in more than just deep shots and reverses. We continue on here. So Michael Merrill has a bunch of questions. We're gonna quickly hit his questions because Michael, you put like 4, which is fine. But if it came down to a big game to make the playoffs, would you trust the Packers or Cowboys offense more? I would trust the Packers.
I'd go Packers
a lot
too.
more. Yeah,
Packers.
CeeDee Lamb coming back would make it a little closer, but I still go Packers. This is for Jack. In the NFL, you need 2 feet in bounds for a catch. Should college football follow suit to help players prepare for the NFL?
I like the 1 foot rule in college.
So do I. I like the differences.
Yeah, I
between
like the
rules.
differences.
Michael says, even though we are 4 weeks into the season, which GMs and head coaches are already on the hot seat? I mean, there's a handful. I think as far as coaches go, you look at Callahan is getting lit up. Brian Callahan, the Titans head coach. Another Brian Dable in New York. Maybe he's bought himself a little more time with Jackson Dart, but that seat, and Joe Shane, the GM there, those seats have been getting warm for quite a while in light of Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, those incidents. Zach, Mike McDaniel.
Don't leave out Chris Greer.
McDaniel's a big
Chris Greer, yep. Chris Greer, your GM as well. I think those are very hot seats. Canales in Carolina. Zach Taylor maybe in Cincinnati. If they just wind up having a horrendous year.
What if the Jags go like 6-9?
I don't know if you could ever.
No,
blame
Cohen's
him,
there. He's new.
Oh, right.
Can you ever blame Zach Taylor? Every year that they do bad is Joe Burrow's just like every time Joe Burrow plays, they're great. Every time he's not.
Yeah.
Like, how do you blame
tough.
the head coach for that? You can't blame him for him getting injured every time.
No, it's a fair point. And some people are, it's a secret one that people are starting to whisper is John Harbaugh and the Ravens, which is, that's
Mike Tomlin.
kind of surprised. I would be shocked if they fired Harbaugh, but if it blows up, that would open the door if they wanted to do it. Okay, we continue on here. Michael's last question was, if Minnesota or Pittsburgh were at home during week 4, do you think the results would have changed? I think whoever was at home would have won the game.
We would have beat you regardless.
From Magikarp. Ziggy, is that your cousin?
Yes.
He says, the Ziggy curse on the Chargers strikes again. We are so back. Will the Chargers win a game without Joe Alt?
Yeah.
What do you say to your cousin, Ziggy?
Look, it's probably... I still think this Chargers team is good. It sucks to go from having probably the best tackle duo in football to one of the 2 or 3 worst over the course of a couple of weeks. Justin Herbert, if he gets hurt, that's going to be a problem. But otherwise, I think this Chargers team is going to be able to stay above water. But you got to get... It sucks that you're not getting Slater back, but you got to get something going at this tackle position if you want to win a bunch of games.
It's so disappointing for the Chargers that you came into the year with arguably the best tackles in football. Or right up there, probably behind Philly, but you're right up there. And now both of them are hurt. Alt, how long is Alt? He's not out for the season, though. I thought Alt was minor.
It's not like the Slater injury.
Yeah,
but
I thought Alt was minor. Okay. Yeah, the Chargers, they need to win this weekend. Like that, it's just has to win. You need to keep this lead on Kansas City because you could just feel it this week after the Raven game and then after the Giants loss. It's like, oh, is this going to happen again? Dan Goose, do you think Matt LaFleur needs to give up play calling duties? Seems to have zero situational awareness, which is a very big issue for this Packers team that they need to fix during the bye week.
You definitely read the comment first like an hour ago and then you answered the question.
Situational awareness was not my key. Situational awareness for Green Bay.
So you read Dan Goose's comment.
Yes.
That's a pretty good point.
Stop it. Stop it. Are we serious right now?
That's exactly what you did.
No.
You read through the mailbag.
I roll tide promise. I went through these questions one at a time. This other one was the one that we read earlier was at the top, and I answer each question. Jack can see I have answers to each question.
Goose's mailbag.
No, you read this because you don't know what situational awareness is. Situational awareness, you say, and then they need to block better on field goals, which has nothing to do with
You shouldn't have read that
awareness.
question. You should, because you gave a good answer, situational awareness, but now we know where you got it from Goose.
I'll say this to get to answering the question a little bit. I know people want LaFleur gone, and there's certainly things he can do better in game, but like the things people are taking issue with, like being aggressive at the right or wrong times or whatever, that's not a play calling thing. That's a team philosophy thing. The head coach is always like, whether or not Dan Campbell is calling the plays in Detroit, you know what that team is going to do because he decides how aggressive are we going to be. As much as people complain about them being aggressive at the wrong times or whatever, it's difficult, particularly on offense, to decide how aggressive to be when your offensive line is putrid. I get the difficult situation he's been in. It's certainly something they need to work on. But overall, the offensive play calling is giving Green Bay consistently one of the better offenses in the NFL. I think it's hasty to ask him to give it up, even though I agree there's a flaw there.
It's not going to happen. So it won't happen. I think you made a good points there, though, Ziggy. LaFleur is going to continue to have play calling, and he even admitted after the game, he was like, play calling sucked at the end, and that's on him. And maybe this is the wake up call. I know Packers fans are like, well, this is 6 years too late, but maybe this is the wake up call for him needing to be more aggressive, like the other coaches in the NFC North seem to be.
Yeah, be aggressive when Myles Garrett is getting after Jordan Love every play.
Jared Jorgensen says, "Is it time to fire Rich Bisaccia, the Packers special teams coach?" That seems to have been a sentiment among Packers fans for a very long time. We're not in the business of directly calling for people to be fired.
I am.
Oh, okay, go for it.
The Packers had average special teams when he got there. Since he's gotten there, they've had about the worst special teams in the league. The end.
Okay.
I don't have enough knowledge on the situation to answer that.
Well, you saw the block kicks. You see putting Golden back there. You see putting Dobbs back there.
It's been a catastrophe for this team since he got there. He seems like a very nice guy.
Yeah,
he did a good job at his last stop, but whether it's his fault or like maybe he's like, or it's his connection with the players and the coaching staff, something's got to change, and that's the easiest thing to change.
How could a block kick be the coach's fault? Just you put
the
out
players didn't seem to be aware of their blocking assignments on the play. You got to coach that better.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. You can't have that issue 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then I believe he also was coordinator when they missed the kicks against San Francisco. They were missing a lot.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain about missed kicks necessarily. I'm not going to put that on a coordinator. But like, it's just the execution has not been there.
But
penalties on special teams.
Yes, but yes, just special teams have cost the Packers as much as any team in football. Seabass a scumbag. When is the NFL Street Tournament happening? We've been waiting. I mean, Ziggy, you come down here, like, well, we could live stream a tournament. I
could get an online NFL Street Tournament going.
Can you for GameCube or?
Yes,
you have the GameCube still.
Online?
GameCube was
you got to know the technology. I know the technology. You can play it on a computer online with multiple people.
What should the Vikings do at QB? Keep Wentz, trade for someone by the deadline, throw McCarthy back in, or McCarthy will be back in.
Try to throw McCarthy back in.
Yeah, that's the only answer to that question. Next Million says, "What is your opinion on Goodell?" We have two left. What's your opinion on Goodell aiming for 16 international games? While I would enjoy it as a German fan, I did not catch much sleep last night due to the Packers game. I think it would be a logistical nightmare and a strain for the players.
I think they're doing a little bit too much with the international games.
Yeah, I do as well.
A little bit too much.
It's going to continue to get worse. That is the answer. But personally, for me as a fan,
it's a lot.
I have no interest in expanding the game internationally.
Tommy, there's a game in
Madrid. Is that wrong for me to say?
There's a game in Madrid now this year, right? In Spain?
You had the game in Brazil, and last year you had people nearly tearing his Achilles, people slipping all over or his breaking his. I mean, he got hit, but you had people slipping all over the field. I'm fine with a couple London games. I don't think we need to be like
all over the world.
Over, yeah.
I would say, more internationals games, something that have to be negotiated with the NFLPA. My view has been since the NFL's moved to 18 games or 17 games in 18 weeks, we should have a second bye anyway. I think if you add a second bye and make the NFL season a week longer, you can make more international games work. But with the current schedule, that's just not going to play.
Nick Wright had an idea. It was like international week, where you just have like every team go play like somewhere different internationally, which I actually think would be kind of fun. And then you call it a day.
Yeah, but that would defeat the purpose of the international games.
Yeah, I get
they want there to be a game in Europe that someone in Europe can watch 4 or 5 times a year. Not like you get 1 week of football in your time zone and then goodbye.
Oh yeah, no. I know, but it would be fun. But I have no real interest in the international games personally. That's just me. Last question from Jonathan Exler. I love Matt LaFleur. And this is more of an opinion. I love Matt LaFleur, but at times I think he really does limit Jordan Love. We saw on Sunday Night Football, Jordan slinging the ball downfield with pinpoint accuracy all night, and then when the Packers need to score, this is situational awareness, guys. LaFleur goes back to his dumb bubble screens, and he does everything like he does every week. Let Jordan throw the football, for God's sake. The Packers need to improve their situational awareness, Jonathan Exler. And had LaFleur been a little more aggressive, were the Cowboys stopping Jordan Love on that last drive? Probably not. from the way the rest of the game had gone. So
You also going to give up 40 points.
Also, like every offensive coach in the NFL right now is going to be calling RPOs, right? With like an inside run for Jacobs, of a bubble screen to the left, with like potentially an option to the right. Like that's just how it works in the NFL because these plays are often effective. Those aren't going away. It's not like he's saying, okay, Jordan, all you have to do, just lock in and throw the bubble screen no matter what. These are like run pass options. So they're really not replacing passing plays, like Love chucking it downfield. They're replacing run plays. And if they're not going well at a certain point, at least some of that responsibility falls on Love for making the wrong read.
So there you have it, the first ever members only mailbag. You know, I will say because otherwise I'll get in trouble. We should have like for these going forward, we'll probably do like one. If you submit 2 questions, maybe we'll read 2. But we can't read. We're hoping that we'll get more and more. So going forward on these, which we will be doing one every month, we'll probably have do it like limited to like 1 or 2 questions. So we appreciate everyone for throwing all these in. And we look forward to the ones coming up. If you haven't checked out our week 5 predictions, go ahead and watch that video. I think it was pretty good. Jack's cap of the week was in there. Ziggy had a questionable joint power rankings, but
I didn't do anything wrong. I blame Jack 100%.
So
you put me in a bad situation.
I thought that it was like that was joint power rankings. It wasn't shenanigans where like we have just some ridiculous ranking. That was like exactly what joint power rankings is supposed to be.
No, it's right. There's like 10 like decent teams in there, but we left out the best team in the league.
Yes. It's it's a hard week for joint power rankings. All right, we will wrap up with that. We'll see you guys on Sunday for some reactionary content. Appreciate everyone listening. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.